Welcome to Tuesday's team training. This is a weekly training that we do every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific that goes through various parts of our business model, our components, as well as ways to get ahead professionally, get out of your own way, beat your competition both internally and externally. So we'll get into today's training, but we always like to start with what happened in a review of last week. Last week we covered recruiting, A to Z. This is scripts, follow up the system. This is how to build a nationwide financial services agency. That's always in the YouTube channel. It can be viewed by you, your agents, anyone who needs that information. It's a half hour that's dedicated strictly to recruiting, how to do it, and not only how to do it, but how to do it effectively and not waste your time in terms of, investing in the wrong prospects or investing in the wrong recruits. So today, what we're going to be talking about is essential tools to run a successful virtual financial services business. So when you guys look at this and you guys have whatever you have in front of you, just go through the checklist, go through the components. What do I have? What's working well? What am I missing completely? And then piece it all together. And once you have your checklist of things completed, then it's just all about, hey, am I using it to its utmost effectiveness? Or am I kind of just winging it? And then you just fix that stuff, and then you have the checklist complete. You have everything running effectively, and then you have a business for yourself. We're going to do this the same way we've been doing the trainings. We're going to go through an infographic real quickly, and then we're going to break it down. So first of all, we're going through why tools matter. The key points of tools, what they create and what they reduce. And this is extremely important because tools are designed to help you. You guys look at some of this stuff and turn your backs on it, but look at what this really does for you. Most agents, especially in our industry, they don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack infrastructure. If your business is going to be an online virtual business, your tools are your office. Think about it. If you don't have a physical location, what is your office? It's your brand awareness, it's your infrastructure online. And these tools are going to help you create speed, create consistency, create follow up, create client experience, create recruiting leverage. All of the things that typically our industry agents see deficiencies in, these tools help fix those. They help create speed, consistency, follow up, client experience, and recruiting leverage. The tools are also on the other end of the spectrum going to reduce confusion, missed appointments, drop leads, lost sales, inconsistent income. We always talk about this stuff. Stuff's falling through the cracks. These tools that I'm going to introduce today will reduce those. And then the bottom line, guys, if you build a system, if you do not build a system, you actually become the system. You do not want to become your own system because it's going to be ineffective. It's not going to be duplicatable. It's not going to be effective. And you're ultimately going to get frustrated with it, drift, and quit. The virtual business model, what we're building, needs to have a consistent follow-up nurture sequence. It needs to have consistency in appointments and presentations, and it needs to have consistency in closing, retention, and referrals. So let's break this down. What are we actually building here? Well, it's a four-part machine. You need traffic and you need lead flow. That's the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have lead flow, if you don't have traffic, you don't have lead flow, you have no blood pumping through your business. And then it's impossible to live without blood pumping through your system. So understand that's the lifeblood of your business. That's why I put that at the top. Under traffic and lead flow is the follow up and nurture. If you're good at creating leads, but you're terrible at following up with leads, you're going to get beat by somebody who's far less talented at creating leads because they're able to follow up. So once you're able to create traffic and create leads, follow up and nurture them. That doesn't mean that you're on the phone consistently all day long, or you're typing out emails or text messages. This is where automation comes in. And this is where you can free up or beat the clock with some of the tools that we're going to introduce today. And then the third part of the four-part machine is your appointments and your presentations. That's when the kind of the rubber hits the road, so to speak, because that's income creation, that's revenue generation. And that leads down into the ability to close, retain, and then get referrals. Remember, if you are doing a service to somebody, and that includes selling something, selling is serving. So if you're fixing somebody's problems, helping them achieve their goals, whatever it might be, once that value is being recognized, that's the time to ask for referrals. And then a lot of the retention of your clients after the closing can be integrated with that follow up and nurture automation sequence. Tools are not expensive, guys. You want to look at tools as your employees. So think about how many employees do I have working for me right now? Well, if you have tools in place, you got a lot of people working for you. If you have zero tools in place, it's just you. Everything's on your shoulder to create everything. And that is a lose-lose situation because we're not going to be good at everything. It's too much to handle on our own. So when you start viewing the tools that you have on your online business as employees, the mind shift should change and you should get very almost addicted to implementing these tools in your business. Your communication stack. This is what we're talking about. What agents must have, what are the best practices, what's your checklist, what is your communication stack? Well, category one is your communication stack. And this is where you really need to understand what agents must have. You've got to have a business phone number. Yes, you can talk to people on your cell phone, but you've got to have a presence online. And that includes a business phone number. The systems that we have in place, you can automatically get a business phone number. You can get it compliant with all the federal regulations, everything you need. So you have a business phone number, you have your cell phone number, but you need a business phone number. You need a texting platform. You need to be able to get in front of people in their preferred method of communication and let them respond the same way. A lot of people like texting over calls and emails. So, what's your texting platform? How do you text people? If the answer is little to none, that's a problem. Once again, the tools that we have in place can fix this. Email system. Are you using your personal email? Do you have an email system? Do you have an automated drip? What do you have in place for emails? If it's little to nothing, once again, we can fix that. Voicemail drops. You don't actually have to leave the voicemails. You can do voicemail drops that can be integrated in a system. And then video messaging. This is becoming more and more effective because outside of the normal text, outside the normal emails, outside the normal voice drops, when you put a face like yours to a message, it helps speed up the trust, rapport, and credibility factor that you're looking for. The standards on, if you look at your communication stack, the standards and best practices is be templated, have scripts. You can't wing it all the time. And if you are very good at that, if you're one of those rare people that can just wing it and be effective, can't teach other people to do that. So the templates and scripts that are saved in your system, in your funnels, in your CRM are very important because then they can be integrated and they can be passed on very easily to other people. Guys, response time is extremely important. If somebody creates a lead and they don't get back to that lead until 24 hours later, most of the people that you speak with are going to have no idea about what they did, why they did it, and they might not even agree that they actually did it. So a new lead, the quicker that you can get to it, the better. But really, you got to get to it within 5 minutes. That's where automation comes in because if you yourself at that time can't get in front of that lead, something else can do that for you and take care of that task for you. A new referral, it's a little bit more of a personal touch. New referrals need the same day. If somebody's going to give you a referral, you need to get on that in the same day and just explain to that referral how this person that you helped thought you could use this very valuable information. Inside, your system, you need a missed call text automation. If I call you up on your business phone and I don't get you, there should be some type of an automated thing that goes out there. Hey, sorry we missed your call. How can we help you? You don't want to miss a bunch of calls coming through. You don't know what those calls are for. You want to keep the communication going so you can follow up with that person, understand what they're looking for, and if you can help them. Your mini toolbox checklist. Think about this, guys. You just need scripts, templates, drops, follow-up scripts, all of this stuff. If you've got a piece of paper here, a piece of paper there, or you got a notebook or a 3-ring binder, that's fine. You can have that stuff. But everything needs to be integrated into your online presence, into your CRM, into your marketing system, into everything that we do. Why? Because it's going to be easier for you, and it's going to be easier for you to duplicate that or replicate that and give that to somebody else. The more that you give somebody coming into your agency, the better they have a chance to be successful, and the better that you have a chance at building nationwide distribution. Remember, you don't need thousands of people. You need a SEAL unit team of 7 to 10 that are really actively trying to make it happen. Watch with that little group what we can do. Once we have them all integrated with these tools, we have the expectations of what we're doing, and we have the understanding of why we're doing it and what we're expecting out of the back end. Tool number 2 is CRM plus automations. You're going to see how a lot of this kind of might overlap each other. We're talking about the same things. What does CRM must do? What is a CRM non-negotiables? This is where we really break down the most important part of what we do, which is the engine. A car can't run without an engine. You're not going very far without an engine. So look at if like the lead flow and the marketing is like gasoline, your CRM and the automations that we implement is the engine. So what must a CRM absolutely must do? Capture leads automatically. You got to have some type of funnel system, some type of a marketing system integrated with your CRM so that as people are interested in things that you're giving away or talking with you, we can capture those leads automatically. Once we capture leads, what do we want to do? We want to organize the leads. That's where tags and segments come in. Think about like if you just didn't have any idea inside your CRM with tags or segments or organization of data, who these people were, why you spoke with them, if you had to go to notes every time. Think about if I can pull up all of my IUL clients just by typing in a search bar, IUL clients, because I've tagged them that way. And then I can send an automated email, an automated text out to all my IUL clients, encouraging them, let's do a policy review. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. CRM is the engine, it's the organization. It will allow you to have trigger follow-up sequences, track pipeline stages. This is about the engine plus the organization. It could also, through the task, remind you who to call today. Or I'm not the most organized person in the world. Online infrastructure, these tools allow me to be very organized. So understand where you are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and what these tools can actually do for you. The non-negotiable, you need to know where your prospects are. That's in a pipeline. Hey, is this person a lead created? Did they opt out? Did they pick a guide? Did they schedule something? Where are they in the pipeline so I can understand where they are and I can move them down? Workflows are nothing more than communication. These are text messages, emails, voice drops that are going out according to why the prospect is, interacting with your marketing and what they picked up. Calendar integration. It's a lot easier when everything's connected together. You have everything integrated. It's a free flow versus trying to take 10 or 12 or 14 different platforms and using them individually. So when you integrate everything, you have a one kind of central engine or dashboard. And then once again, the missed call text back, appointment reminders, these are all things designed to help you stay on top of your business, help things not fall through the cracks, and then help you recognize as much revenue and income as possible. Remember, if it's not in your CRM, it doesn't really exist. So what's in your CRM right now? How many contacts do you have? Are they organized? Do you know what's in there, why it's in there? What you should be doing with the data in there. CRM is the engine, guys. You're not going to go very far without an engine. Category number 3, scheduling and calendar control. This is where the core tools of category number 3, whether you have the Go High Level calendar, Calendly, whatever it is, you have to have a booking calendar. And what you'll see is that when we get down to the best practices, you don't need a lot of appointment, events. You just need a few. You need appointment confirmations and reminders. If I make an appointment with you and there's no reminders, that appointment is in 2 days, the probability that most people will make that is extremely low. Why is that? Because they haven't been reminded, they have attention span of a goldfish. As soon as they block that time with you, they're getting some notification, they're getting some call, whatever it might be, they forget all about it. You have to stay in front of people unless you want a very, very high no-show rates for calls, meetings, whatever it is. And then give them the opportunity. A no-show is a waste of time. Somebody that cancels or reschedules before you go into an appointment to realize it's a no-show is a lot better. So you want to cut down the number of no-shows you have and increase the number of shows as well as cancels and reschedules. This allows you to be, better managing of your own time. And then a time blocking system. If you block your time, you're going to get more out of the day. If you don't use time blocking systems, you'll get less out of the day. And the person that did block their time will just incrementally get ahead of you to the point that the gap is so wide, you can never, kind of meet that. So the best practice here on the calendars, couple booking options, 2 to 3. You need an intro call, you need a strategy call, an overview for partners, whatever it is. You don't need 17, 18 calendar events. You need to slim that down and then really get everybody into one of 3 calendar events. A calendar is a sales system. So remember, if it's not in your CRM, it doesn't exist. The calendar creates the opportunity for you to take those leads and create a sales system out of that. Tool category number 4 This is like I said, if you create leads and you follow up with leads, you get them down to the point they're meeting with you, this has to be, your moment to shine. These are the tools that you need to sell without being salesy and why this all matters. You need something that can force decisions. So whether that's interactive presentation, something like I Decide software, it's very easy if I send somebody a presentation at the end, they've got to make a decision. Hey, do you want to get started? Do you want to learn more? Or no, thanks. It's forcing them to make a decision. So it's allowing me to have something that's sorting people on the front end. If they pick learn more or get started, I know exactly where they are, what they've seen, and where to take that conversation. Pre-recorded explainer videos, checklists, guides, all of the stuff that we were talking about before, value-based propositions that we can use and give away in order to create leads, educate those leads, and resolve those leads. You need a client onboarding as well as a partner onboarding presentation. The more stuff that you can automate, the more stuff that you can share with your agents to help them get to where you are much faster than it took you, that's all we're trying to do, create a better generational opportunity each time, a new generation comes in. Why this matters? Because education raises authority. You're not just out there selling stuff, you're creating buying decisions through education. Authority raises close rate. Hey, I'm the person to speak to about this. Let me tell you why. And then videos increase duplication. So you're creating more buying decisions, you're creating more authority, you're creating more duplication. That's a recipe for success. If your model can't be explained simply, it can't scale. Lose all the financial jargon, whether you're talking to clients or lose all the industry jargon, whether you're talking to potential partners. Understand what you're talking about and then break it down to an elementary school level so the other side can understand. Because if they don't understand, they're not going to ask questions. If they understand and ask questions, those are either buying questions or partner questions for recruiting. Tool number 5, this is the attraction system. So what are we using? What are the tools? What are the posting categories? How do you make yourself visible online? I left Canva in here for the tools because some of you guys use Canva and that's fine. But realistically, you can get everything done with AI. The images, the branding, the post, everything you need can be accomplished through AI. So I'm not saying don't use outside sources. I'm just saying if you haven't learned Canva, there's really no need to. You can get what you need to get done using AI. You need to be an AI nerd. What does that mean? Everything is about AI right now. You need to be learning it. You need to be implementing it into your business. You need to be teaching other people. Like we talked about before, not having AI and not using AI going forward is like bringing a knife to a gunfight. It's not going to be a very good outcome for you. Content library. You need a post schedule. You need something that can constantly give people access to more and more information about you, your services, how you help people like them, and brand templates. So when you have tools that are creating posts, creating brand awareness, the categories are very simple. Are you posting from a point of view of authority, of education, of proof results, of lifestyle mission? And then you always want to, no matter what you're doing, have an objective or goal. If I'm sending a text to you, if I'm sending an email, if I'm calling you, if I'm meeting you, what am I trying to get accomplished out of that text, email, call, or meeting? There's always got to be a call to action. What am I doing? If you're not telling them what to do, they're not going to understand what to do and they're probably going to do nothing. If people don't know you exist, they can't buy from you. So you can't be a secret agent. You got to be out there. And when you're using AI, that's one of the things, the tone, the perspective. Hey, I want to write from a perspective of authority, of education, whatever it might be. Once you learn how to prompt this AI correctly, you're going to get exactly what you want. It's going to save you time, energy, resources, and you're going to be able to do what a few years ago took a lot of time in seconds or minutes. Number 6 is your lead generation sources. So what are your sources and really what are the warning sections here? What do you want to do? What do you not want to do? You guys should have at least 2 to 3 lead sources always running. And we've talked about all the different markets. You have the warm market, you have social media, you have the cold market, you have the common market, you have the referral system. And then once you learn some of this stuff and start creating revenue and income for you, start throwing fuel on the fire with paid leads. This is optional and it's going to cost you money, but it goes from outbound manufacturing of interest to inbound manufacturing of interest. So you can control when you make data-driven decisions. If I spend this much knowing what it returns, I can crank it up anytime, dial it down if I need to. The warning section here is, guys, if you, just like we tell our clients, you cannot have a one-legged stool for retirement. It's going to fall over. Same thing here. If you guys ever, watch a show like Shark Tank, one of the things they'll ask somebody is, where do you do your advertising? And it doesn't matter if they're making millions, if it's 100% Facebook advertising, watch, they're all out because they know you can't rely on one lead source. Whether that falters, whether they change it, you're not in control of that. No lead source equals panic selling. Panic selling is you're just going out there, haven't made a sale in a while, I'm just trying to kind of close somebody. You're moving entirely from what we're teaching you into this panic side, panic management, panic selling, and you're just trying to close people. And that's not a good way to do business. It's not going to create the referrals. It's not going to create the retention, and it's not going to create the user-generated content and reviews that you're looking for. Tool number 7, this is training and team support. And I'm just giving you guys everything that you guys need as an agency builder to relay back to your agents as they come in to be successful. So training and team support, and really, what is this all about? It's about one thing. The real tool is proximity, guys. How closely can we keep our agents into our ecosystem and what we're doing? Because we don't have physical offices. There's some advantages of that. One of the disadvantages is we're not interacting with everybody maybe on a daily basis. Stay in front of your people. We talked last week about recruiting doesn't end when somebody onboards. It's about a 90-day process after that. But this keeps people, in the ecosystem, intertwined in the business model, basically present and accounted for. Weekly trainings, role plays. If somebody's brand new, just getting their license and they're struggling, offer role plays. Don't force it because you don't want to force people to do stuff they don't want to do, but say, hey, let's just role play a little bit and see if I can help you out. Hot seats, all the accountability scorecards, the 12-week year, everything that we do to try to keep people integrated in the model, excited about the opportunities, and then under kind of the understanding, the framework about what works. You're not paid for what you know. You're paid for what you can duplicate. So create something, create duplication to it. That creates the asset. You can step away, and even without you, your business will still can run, be profitable, and can return you the income that you set up long before walking away. And then category number 8 is really just about an operating system and understanding either what's happening or what's not happening. Remember, you have measurement, you have accountability, and you have reflection. If you're missing some of those, that's going to take a big piece out of your business. You need a weekly scoreboard, not anything, that's hard to understand. Simple, but powerful. Just track, hey, how many conversations did I have this week? If it's very little to none, then you can understand it's going to be hard to have a yield output on the backside if there's nothing on the input coming in. So where are my conversations coming from? How many I've had? How many appointments did I set? How many people actually showed up? One thing to set appointments, so the thing to have a show rate. So you want to monitor both of those. How many proposals were made? How many policies were issued? How many apps were written up? Whatever you're going to track there. How many referrals did I ask for? Remember, once value is being recognized, ask for a referral, not, hey, who else do you know that I can sell something to? Who else do you know that needs access to this information? Who else do you know and care about that needs access to this information? New recruits added. What gets tracked gets improved. Because if you're willing to measure it and then be accountable and reflect on it, you understand exactly what's happening. And then staring at that week after week after week, you understand what's happening and you can improve on what needs to be improved. In closing, guys, the Toolbox Challenge, I want to give you guys an assignment here, and it's really not hard. It's just that when we learn stuff and we don't implement what we learn, you're just viewing stuff. You're just here for information. It's not really going to do anything unless you implement it. So the Toolbox Challenge here is identify out of all those categories, what's your weakest tool category? Fix it this week. Remember, don't identify and then put off fixing it. Fix it now. The more stuff you identify and fix, becomes easier to fix yourself, your business, and then help other people do the same. And then report back. Hey, let us know what came out of this training. What did you realize? What did you fix? What do you need help with? Success online isn't just about luck. It's not being at the right place at the right time. It's about being set up correctly and then just making sure that you let the setup, you let the framework, you let your tools do the work for you in a meaningful way. I kind of developed this right here as kind of like a stoplight scenario. When you guys are auditing your toolbox and what you have in place, green is, hey, I've implemented that tool. It's working for me. I'm working for it on an effective level. It's strong green. That's great. That's a good sign. Keep going. Yellow is a warning sign. It means it needs more work. Maybe this was a partial implementation. Maybe I started to implement it, but haven't fully implemented. I'm not using it up to its full 100% effectiveness. That means kind of pause and let's take a look at that. Needs some work. And then the red light, just like when we're driving, red light means stop. This means something is completely missing, which means you have a huge income leak. You need to address that immediately and urgently. Your red zones are where your income leaks. So understand from the stoplight perspective, where are my red zones? What do I need to address? Where's my income leaking? And let's stop that leak. If you guys have been working on this business for a number of months or maybe a few years, understand that you can have kind of stagnant growth for a while. And then when you fix the things that are wrong in your business, you get hockey stick growth. So if you've been working on this, just understand that a plan you've been working on for a long time is beginning to take shape if you implement these tools, if you understand that this is important stuff to do on your own and then take it to your agency build out.